What's up, everybody? It's Rob from Stage Tower Games, and I'm here doing a episode for my Pathfinder GM Prep Foundry for the beginner box, the one that I've been making some videos about, talking about my group that I'm playing through with the beginner box into Abomination Vault. I'm making this video actually right after our last session, just to kind of have it fresh for you guys. You can see it has been a crazy night. So the last episode I talked about that the group had just finished getting prepared for the last two fights of the beginner box, which was against the Kobold Boss and then against the Green Dragon Wurmling as kind of the ultimate boss fight. And that wraps up, and after that the group will head into the Abomination Vault's AP. They will start at level 2 with some additional loot because of this adventure. That's my way of helping them keep bound, because obviously Abomination Vaults can be a bit rough at level 1, especially for newer players. So I'm hoping that this gives them a bit of an advantage so that they don't get crushed. That being said, this episode was a crazy one. So the Kobold Boss fight actually was pretty quickly over and done with. None of the kobolds actually have that much health, and Gallagher, the kind of fighter, if you will, was able to destroy quickly most of the threats. The Kobold Boss was a mage, got a fear off and some magic missiles off. But outside of that, the group was quickly blasted through that, and I was a bit concerned for that, to be honest. They did some damage, and even the book says, oh, this could be a tough fight potentially, but no, they just battled through this fight. However, that's when things got interesting. The Green Dragon Wurmling fight. Now, this is kind of the fight where if the Kobold Boss fight was kind of this is the fight you need to beat to kind of beat the story mode of the game, the Green Dragon Wurmling is the fight you need to beat if you want to 100% the game. Yes, they've technically stopped the Kobold threat by defeating the Kobold and the leader, but if they want to really get everything done, they gotta defeat the Dragon Wurmling. And this fight right away started off bad. So the first thing the fight did was the Wurmling jumped onto one of these mushroom kind of trees, if you will, in this grotto, and it uses breath attack. As it would, breath attacks are always one of the common things that dragons would use. And this is actually a quite powerful AoE blast. It's a 5d6 AoE damage. On top of that, one of the players critically failed, taking double damage, so they automatically dropped down to dying too because they dropped. And that's a pretty big AoE blast. In the following turns, it's Draconic Frenzy doing 2-3 attacks per turn, even up to 4 potentially, makes it where it's with its high attack modifiers, it can actually crush through and do some decent damage to the players, to where I would say of the 4 players that are in the game, at least 3 of them have went down at some point in that fight. And they did, overall, I think they did maybe 10 to 12 hit points of actual damage to the Wurmling the whole way through. It has a high AC, has decent amount of hit points. It's a CR4 creature, so it definitely was a struggle for them. While I thought that they would have blown through these 2 battles quite quickly, especially based on the first one, to then see them stumble on this one, and part of me took at least a good breath from it, because I didn't want to start Abomination Vaults mid-session, if you will. I had it prepped just in case, but I wanted to make sure that I had a good proper introduction into the new adventure. Now, part of this video I want to talk about is this Welding Fight, and it's a good battle to show a few things: strategy, tactics, and showing ways that, for instance, the Wurmling doesn't leave the room, so they can go back out like they did. They managed to, heal up, grab themselves, and run out as best as they could from the room, and go back to the surface to rest, recover, sell their stuff, plan, do all that. With that, they're gonna try and figure out what they're gonna do next. They have they identified some of the items they have. They identified some of the cool things. But overall, the general consensus is that the dragon needs to be dealt with. They're going to try and talk to the town, see if they can maybe get some money out from the town for it. I'll see what I can do for it. Obviously, the dragon has its own treasure, so that's a thing. I don't really think they need more treasure on top of that. But with that, the Wurmling fight on its own is specifically a good fight. It shows them breath weapon. This is the first creature that has an AoE attack of this caliber on the board. It shows them Draconic Frenzy, which every dragon basically has. It's a two actions to do 3 attacks. It has a reaction, Twisting Tail, that allows it to interrupt movement, and it can fly. And it's a smart enemy. This is it's a cunning enemy. It's not. Even though it is young and foolish and brash, it isn't exactly. It's not dumb. I could have maybe done the AoE in a bit of a different direction to maybe make it so it wouldn't hit 2 people potentially. But I don't think that it would have made that much of a difference. Based on how the fight was going, the rules were going, it was good at them to back up and recover. Now, I'm curious, this reminds me a lot of the end of Rise of Runelords Book 1, Burnt Offerings. Spoilers for any of you who have not played it, but sorry, the book's been out for a few decades at this point, I feel like. I don't know when it was published, but it's been decades. Sorry. The book ends with you fighting the main boss for that book, and then there's a secret chamber eventually you can find that leads you to this Barghest fight. Now, the reason why this Barghest fight is scary is because I believe the players end the book 1 at level 4, and I want to say the Barghest is at least CR 7 at least, possibly higher. I think it might be a greater Barghest, I forget. So it's a tough fight. It's a really tough fight for the players. Now they add a special restriction to the fight where the Barghest can't leave the room to allow them that same thing where they can either shoot from the door or retreat for safety. But it is a tough optional fight, similar to the dragon. The dragon is technically an optional fight. I know there's a lot of drama over these kind of optional boss fights, if you will. I think they're kind of cool for a few reasons. One, it gives a little flair to the dungeon. It's not just simply go to the fight, the final boss room, defeat the boss, win the game. There's extra stuff there. Secondly, it shows you that not everything is a cakewalk. Some dungeons, yeah, you may have to go back and deal with that threat at a later time. For instance, you could technically fight the dragon or the Barghest, whatever, see it's tough, leave, come back 3-4 levels later. At that point, you're now the same level as it or even higher, and just make short work of it, no problem. Yes, the reward probably isn't as nice at that level because it probably isn't as effective, but hey, it's an easier fight, and that kind of mentality is a good thing to show to your players. So that's a cool little tactic as well you can do with your games. Now the cool thing about this, I'll also say, to kind of segue into the next episode and into the future of this series, is Abomination Vaults, also from the Paizo website and Foundry, have the connection where you can buy the kind of, or get the Foundry tabletop version of Abomination Vaults. If you get it, it comes with the Foundry module as well as the PDF on the Paizo website to download. Now, what's really cool about this is it, again, just like the beginner box, it's all set up for you. I will show you guys some of the stuff a bit more on this one, just because I'll be doing some prep of it myself. So definitely stay tuned for that part. I'll kind of show you guys some of that information and show you guys how those kind of things actually go. So that prep will be in the next episode for Abomination Vaults. This episode, I want to know your guys' opinions on these kind of optional boss fights, this kind of extra fights that aren't technically required to advance the story, if you will, but are good little flavor blasts. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you've ever fought such a fight, if you use it, if you're a GM, have you used such fights, let me know. And as always, while you're down there, be sure to subscribe to the channel to help it grow. I appreciate each and every one of you that do help the channel. It means a lot to me. So I'm hoping that your support will help grow the channel and show that you guys are enjoying these videos. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time with another Pathfinder 2e Foundry video. Thank you.